Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Jenny Halpin, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Bombardier Jonathan Dawson. This evening, we are honoured to acknowledge Lieutenant General James F. Glynn, Commander, United States Marine Forces Pacific, United States of America, accompanied by Colonel Joe Richards, Director of International Engagement, Australian Army. We also warmly welcome Royal Military College Duntroon Romani Company Specialist Services Officers First Appointment Course and Army recruits of 23 Platoon Charlie Company First Recruit Training Battalion, Kapooka, New South Wales. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Maxville Public School, Pleasant Hills Public School, Yurong Creek Public School and Boree Creek Public School, all visiting from New South Wales. Now, if you are able, may I please invite you to stand and join in singing the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Students and those who require a seat, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Thomas Francis Assender. Thomas Assender was born in 1894 in South Melbourne, Victoria, to Thomas Francis and Catherine Nee Munsey. He was one of 4 children. He grew up in South Melbourne and Richmond and attended school locally. His mother Catherine died in June 1910. With his older siblings mostly already living away from home, Assender followed suit. And by the start of the First World War, he had moved to Tanmain, New South Wales, where he was working as a farmhand. Assender enlisted for service with the Australian Imperial Force at Cootamundra, New South Wales, on the 17th of November 1915. His relationship with his father at the time appeared to have been fractured, as he listed his parents as dead and his next of kin as one of his brothers. After his initial training, he was allotted to the 17th Reinforcements to the 2nd Australian Infantry Battalion. On the 14th of April 1916, he embarked from Sydney, along with other reinforcements, aboard the transport Ceramic bound for Egypt. By the time he arrived at Alexandria, the Australian Imperial Force, then comprising 4 divisions, had begun its transition to France. Thomas Assender remained in Egypt until late July, when he was sent to England, arriving in early August. After a month with the 14th Training Battalion, he was sent to France, where further training at the infamous Bullring training camp at Étaples awaited him. In late September, he was taken on strength of the 54th Battalion, which was in rest positions near Fleur Bay. The battalion moved to Fleur in October 1916, where the men endured the coldest winter in 40 years, rotating between rest positions, support areas, and the front line. In February 1917, Assender and his unit took part in the pursuit of the Germans as they withdrew to their prepared positions, known as the Hindenburg Line. At the end of the month, he was admitted to hospital with laryngitis. He was evacuated to England to recuperate and didn't rejoin his battalion until mid-June. At the start of August, Assender suffered an injury to his right shoulder during a grenade-throwing practice session. He was evacuated to Le Havre to recover. The following month, an abscess was discovered in his chest wall, which required immediate treatment. He did not return to his unit until the 6th of October. After Assender took part in the Battle of Polygon Wood on the 26th of September, the 54th Battalion then occupied frontline positions along Brudensine Ridge. The area was subjected to constant shelling, including the use of mustard gas. The battalion went into rest positions on the 20th of October, with many men suffering the after effects of being gassed. Among them was Assender, who reported sick 3 days later. He was evacuated to hospital on the French coast to recover and rejoined his unit at the end of December. Assender was sent to England on leave on the 18th of February 1918 for 2 weeks. Only weeks after he returned to France, the Germans launched their spring offensive. The 54th Battalion took part in the defence of Villers-Bretonneux in early April, but the battalion lost their commanding officer and the entire headquarters staff when their dugout was hit by a shell. At the end of April, Thomas Assender was hospitalised with influenza and didn't rejoin his unit until the start of June. He was hospitalised again at the end of the month, this time suffering with boils on his left leg, putting him out of action for another month. Thomas was back with his unit in time to take part in the August offensive. By the end of the month, the Australians had reached the fortified town of Péronne. After attacks across the south bank of the Somme River failed to secure a crossing on the 29th of August, the effort was shifted to the north bank. Over the following 2 days, the 2nd Division captured Mont-Saint-Quentin, which then allowed the 14th Brigade to assault Péronne from the north. On the 1st of September, the 54th Battalion, as part of the 14th Brigade, captured Anvil Wood and then took part in the assault on Péronne. Such were the fortifications that the Australians had to clear the town house by house and street by street. The town would not be secured until the following day. During the fighting for Péronne, Thomas Assender was killed in action. The manner of his death was not recorded. He was initially laid to rest in an isolated grave in Péronne, but was later reinterred in the Péronne Communal Cemetery Extension. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Thomas Assender, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.